Film. Is it a movie, film, or a film? Is it a movie,
Great movie,
or a film?
Fascinating
Is it a movie,
Love that movie.
or a film?
Haven't heard of that
Is it a
film.
movie,
It's my favorite
or a
movie.
film?
I'm a bit of a cinephile.
Saturn is in retrograde, and you guys are listening or watching another episode of
Movie.
Film.
It's a podcast where we pick a flick and decide if it's a movie or a film. I'm
That's
Nate,
right.
and anybody ever tell you look dead, man?
I'm Terrill, and I'll tell you this much. The next hitchhiker is shit out of luck.
And I'm Anthony, and keep running that mouth of yours, and I'm going to take you in the back and screw you.
Ooh, that was dirty.
Hi, Anthony. Thanks
Hi.
for joining us. I don't know what that is from.
What? Really?
Do you? Do you know?
Yeah, you do. You know.
Give us a hint. What's that?
It also takes place in Texas.
Is it
Well-
Nocturnal Animals? Okay.
It's
I was
from
looking
two-
at Nocturnal Animal quotes today.
It's from two of your faves.
From his two of his faves? Or?
Nate's.
Okay.
I'm looking at him, but then I realize that he can't see that I'm looking at him.
Great.
Wait, it's from two movies?
Nah, it's one movie, but it's two directors. That's the best hint I can give.
Okay. No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking
Got
at
it.
those quotes too, but I didn't see that one.
Right.
You know mine?
No.
You remember mine?
Nope.
It is from Alien, which apparently was inspired by Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Nice.
What?
Yeah, apparently Ridley Scott was like Texas Chainsaw but space, and then he
But
made
space.
Alien.
Nice. Mine's is from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like mine's is from the.
It's a little on the nose.
a little bit.
Wait, the 2003?
2003.
Jessica Biel's?
Jessica Biel's, baby.
So to our listeners right now, I want to let you know, it was alluded to earlier, we are on YouTube for this episode, since we are recording remotely with our guest Anthony. So follow the link on our Twitter or Instagram or Facebook at MovieFilmPod if you want to see us. Or just continue listening to the podcast as you normally do. You're not going to miss that much. There's not much to see, except we've got some nice
Just our
movie, film shirts,
Not me.
which are not for sale. But if you're interested, let us know. Email us moviefilmpod@gmail.com. And if enough people are interested, maybe it'll be a thing.
Yeah.
So before we talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Yeah.
this is our last summer movie.
Yeah.
Because we're doing summer movies all month.
Mm-hmm. This is a fun month.
Yeah. I watched some stuff that was left out on the cutting room floor.
Mm-hmm. Oh, from the list?
Yeah, I watched Eve's Bayou is what I was
Yeah.
going to say. And want to talk about a little bit.
Of Eve's Bayou?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I haven't seen it, so.
Mm.
You gotta get on that.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I only watched season 1 of Twin Peaks, but Anthony, I know you're very familiar. Is it fair to compare Eve's Bayou to Twin Peaks?
You know, I didn't think about that when I watched it, but now that you say that,
Interesting.
yeah, like maybe, yeah. I would like to rewatch it just because I would like to rewatch it. Like I want to watch it again, but I would like to rewatch it with that in mind and view it through that lens, I guess. That's cool though.
Yeah,
Maybe,
similar, like just the soundtrack. Terrence Blanchard, who I've been listening to all month because I did my Spike Lee watch through, and he's Spike Lee's go-to. His score is all over the whole thing, like front to bottom. It's like there's music playing over everything, and just like the speeches. I guess I
Right.
didn't know Terrill hasn't seen it. I don't want to give anything away.
now.
Yeah, that kind of limits what we should talk about, I
What
think.
you can say, yeah, my bad. I'm sorry, I killed the discussion.
I thought Sam Jackson was really good, and I haven't seen him like that in a long time, where he's just like a kind of laid back person.
But very charming. And
Yeah.
I think that's definitely one of my favorite Sam Jackson performances, I think. Yeah, no, it definitely is.
Nice.
Yeah. It's weird that your mics are right in front of your faces. Anyway.
Yeah, I didn't want to see Harriet when the trailer came out, but now after having watched Eve's Bayou and Let Them Talk a couple weeks ago, both Cassie Lemon's pictures,
Yeah.
I'm now kind of interested in the Harriet biopic.
I didn't realize she did Harriet until I watched Eve's Bayou and then saw her name and was like, wait a minute. So yeah, I too would like to check that out. I was kind of in the same boat with you. Just not very interested at first.
Same.
I think it's hard for a biopic where it's like a character that they need to just celebrate. Because then the whole movie is just exalting the person.
Yeah.
Which is only on my mind because I rewatched the Steve Jobs biopic with Michael Fassbender, who looks nothing like Steve Jobs, but still completely inhibits Steve Jobs somehow. Or inhabits Steve Jobs. And that movie, like, they have no qualms of like, yeah, Steve Jobs was a really shitty dude. We're going to show you.
Nice.
And I like that, even though I usually don't like biopics.
Did Danny Boyle do that one?
He did.
Yeah. I haven't seen it. I have weird feelings about biopics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite biopic you can think of?
I've been meaning to rewatch Malcolm X.
I saw that recently.
But I mean, it's funny because like the one that comes to mind isn't actually a biopic. It's like it's a spoof, which is Walk Hard. Yeah.
Yes.
And so I think the fact that that's the one that I think of says a lot of how I feel about biopics.
That movie just ruined music biopics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless they do something radical with it, like did you see the Don Cheadle, Miles Davis biopic?
I still haven't.
Come on.
Oh, you think I would?
Well, that's a good one.
I love Miles and I love Don.
Yeah.
So you think, but no, I haven't.
Okay.
All right, I'll check that out. I'm sure I'll love it. Ewan McGregor's in that too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out. That's a winning combo.
And Lakeith Stanfield's in there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, great. I'm sold.
Woohoo! Anyone else watch any summer movies? I still haven't seen Jaws. Sorry.
I mean, at this point, I feel like you just shouldn't.
It's like a shark and it kills people, right?
Right.
Yeah. They need a bigger boat. Yeah.
Yep. I guess Booksmart kind of counts as a summer movie, right? Is it summer in that one?
Yeah, because it's like the end of school. It's the start of summer.
Yeah. So I watched that.
Booksmart's fun.
Yeah.
That was nice. Yeah. And they made me watch that. He was like, put Booksmart on.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I once again, I feel like a continuation of last week where I'm just not watching many movies, honestly.
Yeah.
But
we can talk about the one you watched last night, though.
Yeah, I mean, I watched two. I did a double feature of both Texas Chain Saw Massacres, in the order that I first saw them in. I don't know if that's your experience, but I saw the remake before I saw the original.
Same.
And I guess I don't know that when you do something like that, the reboot might like set the pace, might set the tone for you. And like the way that it was made, like it's current, so it's like more in tune with the way I see movies than how the original is. So I kind of like saw the original shortly after, and I didn't love it.
Oh,
I didn't love it. Because there was like that remake, it just like was more current. That's the only thing I can say about it. But upon watching it again, like back to back, I totally see. I want to say the errors of my ways.
I have to bring this up, Terrill. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Bring it up. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I checked your letterboxd, and I saw your back-to-back Texas Chainsaw viewings, and you had liked only the remake and not the original.
Too. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So I screenshotted, I sent it to you. I was like, are Nate and I gonna have to roast you? And I think you liked it now. You like the original now, right?
Yeah.
Right,
I put a heart next to it because sometimes, like when I'm adding a movie to my diary, I'll just log it because I'm in the middle of it, so I won't heart it because I don't know how I'm gonna feel by the end of it. You know?
Oh, you log it while you're watching it?
Yeah, I log it as I'm watching
it, and it leads to lots of errors on it.
See, I wait until the credits and then I log. I just want to say I love Letterboxd.
I'm glad I
love
got you
Letterboxd.
into it.
Yeah, thank you for that.
It's my favorite social media.
It is. Yeah, it's mine too because it's literally, for me at least, it's just the three of us hanging out watching movies. Like that's what my Letterboxd experience is. So thanks guys.
Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed it this time, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Any
and just talk about
thoughts? Any thoughts specific to the remake? I didn't like the remake when I first saw it.
You didn't like it?
And I haven't rewatched it since. Yeah,
he refused to rewatch it with me.
So
he was just like, nah, he just chilled in his room.
I'm not interested.
I like it. I still like it. I like it because it's very different from the original. Like they didn't just like go shot for shot or even go close to it. It like completely like Leatherface is still there, but it builds this new character and like this terrible sheriff that becomes like the new bad guy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, and I really like the aesthetic to it, the look to it, and it was like the first of its kind. I want to say like the first like remake of like those horror movies from that time, and it was like a success, and it led to us getting Halloween, and it led to us getting not so great ones like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street.
You're talking about Rob Zombie's Halloween, right?
Yeah, Rob Zombie's Halloween.
I've still only seen parts of that, and I've never seen the Texas Chainsaw remake.
Oh,
so
I thought
like,
you saw it before.
No. I've only seen the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Right.
So like, what like could you help me like? I mean, you don't have to go through like every difference, but like, what's like?
Right.
I guess like the major difference is just that like it's like the sheriff is more of like the
sheriff is more of like the focal point. He's doing a lot more damage. I want to say the original is a lot more disturbing. It's a lot more like there's something about like 70s filmmaking where they would just like linger on a shot and they would just have really like wild cuts and like the extreme close-ups and there's a lot. A lot of remakes, Texas included, they like divert from that uneasiness. You know what I mean? They make it more accessible.
So it's not like Rob Zombie style. I feel like
No, it's not like Rob Zombie style.
Is it safe to say Texas Chainsaw Massacre it seems like a huge influence on Rob Zombie, like his film.
Definitely.
But that whole
House of a
aesthetic,
Thousand
like
Corpses is
backcountry,
just
right.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's interesting because I like this. I like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I'm not really into Rob Zombie stuff.
I'm not really into Rob Zombie stuff either, except for Halloween. I really enjoyed Halloween.
You're a big Rob Zombie Halloween champion.
I'm a big
and
Rob Zombie Halloween guy.
All right, this October, I think I'm gonna make a point to watch both. And if you want to join me,
I do.
Please do. I gotta plug my phone in. Pardon me.
Okay.
Well, while you're plugging in the phone, let's roll the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna just say one more thing about the remake is that there's something that happened in the 2000s, and it's probably always been a thing in Hollywood where they decided to make everything hot.
What do you mean?
Like sexy?
Like sexy.
Oh,
yeah, and they started to like cast all the actors as sexy, and so I feel like that kind of I guess you can't have disturbing and sexy coexist. Or
I don't know if I agree with you.
Not commonly. I don't know.
I'd say a big difference between the remake and the original is that the original is an independent film. The remake is a commercial property.
Yes.
Let's remake Texas and get a bunch of money. We'll put the girl from Seventh Heaven in it.
Yeah.
And it'll sell.
The original is less of like I want to say less of a narrative. Like less like structured like a typical movie where they really fit that story of Texas Chainsaw Massacre into like a commercial structure.
Yeah. All right, well, let's see the old school trailer for the Texas Chain Saw Massacre.
Yeah.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a 1974 American slasher directed by Tobe Hooper, written and co-produced by Hooper and Kim Henkel. Good old Kim Henkel.
Yeah.
I always read Tobe Hooper as Tobe Hooper.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I
was like, wait, that's not right. That can't be
right. So I saw the remake first. I actually only saw this like 6 years ago. I didn't like the remake when I saw it, so I just thought Leatherface wasn't one of the slasher guys that I liked.
He's an icon.
I thought, okay, he's no Michael Myers, or even I like Jason Voorhees better at the time. But then I saw this. And it is so effective. It's so hardcore and disturbing and intense, and it makes me feel icky. And that's great because that's exactly what it's going for.
Yeah, it just really achieves what it sets out to do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And it's straight to the point too. Like it wastes no time building these characters up at all. Like they're here to get slaughtered, and that's exactly what happens.
It's even it's scary from the very beginning before we even see anything. Just the text telling us that it's a true story and about these brutal murders.
Yo, ain't that crazy? I remember as a kid being like, yo, the Texas Chain Saw Massacre is a real story. Like, that really happened. Like, verbatim. There was a crazy man with a chainsaw out there killing people, and they made a movie about it.
It's like an opening crawl with a voiceover, like a spooky voiceover.
John Larroquette doing the voiceover. Apparently, he was paid for his part in this film with a joint. That was his payment.
Sick.
And in a 2008 interview, he has said that he hasn't seen the movie.
Got a joint and bounce.
And yeah, it's even though the opening text says that it's a true story, it is not. It's fictional, but it is loosely based on Wisconsin serial killer Ed Gein, who's also the basis for Norman Bates in Psycho and Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs. So it was really just one guy, and then they made a bunch of movies where people like to wear skin and wreak havoc.
Yeah.
Wisconsin,
and
you said?
He's technically not a serial killer because he only killed 2 people.
True.
To be a serial killer, you need about 3 or more.
According to the IMDb trivia, though, and I love the way they say it, he was, however, a ghoul. He stole body parts, only female, from many different graves, and he kept some of the parts in his refrigerator and skinned one corpse and wore the skin as a dress.
Yeah.
So it's still, like, icky.
Very icky.
Right.
But yeah, not a serial killer.
Yep. And that's what the I think it's during the opening credits we're hearing the radio report, and I think that's part of the report that they're digging up graves and stealing body parts.
Yeah, it sounds like it could be like a real life recording of them reporting on Ed placed into the movie.
And it's like it's just images. Like I think there's like it was like the dead bodies like arranged in a really strange way. Yeah. Like with the opening credits over it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the bodies are like a monument over this grave. Mm-hmm. The color of it's just like so orange and yellow, like even like not even just the bodies, like the whole image just looks sickly and
I feel like I noticed that in a lot of 70s movies, that like that kind of like, I want to say it's like a color scheme or like like almost like a filter.
Like the warm filter?
Yeah, it's like they're all very warm and like orangey yellow, like.
Mm-hmm. We get the text after the exposition telling us that it is August 18th, 1973, and it is summer. Well, actually, it doesn't say that summer, just August. I wrote in my notes, it's summer. Because we're doing summer movies. This summer movie is very different than our other summer movies we've done.
Yeah, quite extreme.
Yep. This isn't like hey, remember that one summer we had?
Yeah, this is not like good nostalgia at all.
No, it is like the summer you'd remember for the rest of your life if there is more to your life.
Yeah, they said this happened in 73. People went into the theater in the summer of 74 to see this. And we're like, wait, is this real? Like, they didn't have Google on their phone. They just look it up, you know? They left the movie theater being like, oh, that really happened?
That was me with the Blair Witch Project.
Right.
True. Yeah, people thought that was real, too.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, like, are either of you guys familiar with the, like... like I guess like the ad campaign for this movie, or like if there even was one. Like, because you know how the Blair Witch was really built up with this like viral marketing or whatever. I mean, like very early internet, I guess. It was
Yeah,
99,
very
right?
early internet.
And like, you know, building it up like, oh, this is actually a true story that happened to these people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering like if maybe something similar was employed here, but I don't know. I feel like maybe
Probably.
it's probably
I don't
I,
know for
it,
sure.
it seems unlikely, but I wasn't even a thought back in the 70s.
All right. Something that aided in this movie, like helping people believe that it was real, kind of like with Blair Witch Project, was that none of the actors were known, and none of the actors after this went on to like be in other movies.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought Sally was in a few other things.
Maybe.
Yeah, but like I'm sure nothing like major.
Nothing of yet to like note of like this.
So after the date, we get a black screen. We don't see anything except for like the occasional flash of these grotesque images, but we hear the sound of a shovel. The sound design in this movie, which the movie was made on a pretty cheap budget, but I just think they knocked the sound design out of the park.
I like that.
Everything contributes to the icky feeling that this movie gives me.
There's that sound that it does when it does the flash, where it's like, you know what I'm talking about?
Like the flash of a camera, like heating
It's like
up,
a
or
flash
like
of the camera, but then it's like this weird like string or like a door creaking open or something like that. I don't really know how to explain it.
I feel like that sound comes back a few times in the movie. Like I know what you're talking about, and I also don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, but it is like very creepy.
Apparently, they didn't use any like natural noises in the sound mix. They wanted it all to be sounds that you would hear if you were an animal in a slaughterhouse.
What?
So that's why it's a lot of like metal and clanging and like
Cool.
yelling and dirt and.
I like that. I feel like there's a part of we'll talk about that later, actually.
Yeah.
When we get there.
There's a
shot. The beginning of a series of shots throughout the movie of the sun, which then become the moon when it becomes nighttime. And the first one is like right after these like disturbing images with the news report over it. And I think that's interesting because it's like you don't know it's the sun when you're first looking at it, because I feel like the rest of the sky is like black or like very dark, and there's just this like bright,
it's like
celestial
red.
body.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, what is that? And then you realize like, oh, I'm looking at the sun, but like it's not what, because you obviously can't go stare at the sun.
Right.
Like, I like that a lot, and it's featured like pretty frequently.
Yeah, get the hot heat of the Texas summer. The first clear image we see is a close-up of a dead armadillo that was killed on the road.
Yeah.
So we just start. We saw some flashes of corpses, but now we get to see like a corpse, albeit an armadillo. But very Texas appropriate roadkill. So they got that part right.
Man, I don't think I've ever even seen an armadillo in person.
Me neither.
Oh, you've got to. They're the. I don't know.
Man.
I haven't either. They seem fun.
Next month I might. Who knows?
Be careful.
Thanks.
While we're focused on the close-up of the armadillo, there's a van that passes in the background, and then in the next shot we see that our people are in that van.
Yeah.
So we follow that
gang.
van. The gang, which consists of Sally, her paraplegic brother Franklin, and their friends Jerry, Kirk, and Pam.
Pam's reading her astrology book.
Yeah.
That's aged very well.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know. I could see a world where you're making that movie and you think that the Zodiac is like a fad in the 70s.
No,
But no, still going strong.
Still strong.
Yeah.
Astrology, timeless.
We meet Franklin, who is in a wheelchair, and he has to take a piss.
Mm.
He has to take a piss, but like, there's a loud noise that happens that makes him fall over. Like,
Yeah,
he's introduced as just like a messy character.
like it's just the first of so many awful things that happen to him. It just gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
He's really going through it in this movie. Poor
Yep.
Franklin. But he's
And-
also like kind of annoying.
Oh my god, he's so annoying. Really annoying.
Is he though?
I think so. I mean, they're
think
all
But like,
really
so.
if
shitty to
everyone
him.
listened to him,
Yeah, I mean, no, he's definitely right. Like they should have listened to Franklin and gotten out of there. He's the only one with sense, but he's also very annoying.
yeah, I
So
guess they made him like the rational one, but super annoying to like. Then you're kind of rooting for the people that are marching to their deaths.
right. But they're also just so terrible to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the van pulls over, and we see them like awkwardly setting up the ramp for the wheelchair to exit.
Mm-hmm.
And then Franklin
Competent.
gets to the side of the road, and yeah, he's peeing in like a Folgers can.
Mm-hmm.
Which why didn't he just do that in the van?
Ladies?
Yeah.
Why do you need to get out of the van to pee?
Ladies? Or why didn't the ladies get out the van?
I don't know. I mean, they all seem kind of. I mean, it's like the 70s. They're all on a fucking like a road trip in their van. I don't see why not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the truck passes, and that gust from the truck knocks Franklin down the hill.
That's
The chair starts moving, and then he falls out of the chair.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty bad news. Meanwhile, we learn that Saturn is in retrograde,
Yes.
which I thought is something only Mercury did. So I don't know.
Nah, man.
All the planets go into retrograde.
Yeah, and I think Saturn is always during the summer. But there's also Terrill, you said another one that's in retrograde right now. Last night.
Jupiter?
Yeah, Jupiter and Saturn are in retrograde right now.
Yeah. True
Okay.
story.
So they get to their first destination, which is a cemetery, and it is pop. Everyone's at the
is.
cemetery today.
There's just a dude like wasted on the ground.
Oh
At the
yeah, the
cemetery.
drunk old guy. I don't know really what he was babbling about. He wasn't even like that trope of like the old man like telling you beware of where you're going. You know what I
Nah,
mean?
he
Like
comes
he wasn't
later.
even that guy.
That
Like
guy comes
kind of,
later.
but not really.
Mhm.
They were all on a trip.
Franklin's left in the van while they're at the cemetery, so he is a witness to the ramblings of the drunk man, and you just get the shot of him like listening to the drunk guy who's like on his back, just on the ground. And
They leave
just looked
Franklin
very disturbed.
behind a lot.
Yep.
You don't see a lot of like people that like can't run in horror movies.
Yeah, and you watch this and you think like, oh well, Franklin's done for.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh well, he's going to be the first to go because he's the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting to note.
So while Franklin's left in the car, a local is taking Sally to see her grandfather's grave. The reason they're on this trip is they hear that their grandfather's grave has been desecrated, so they want to check on that.
Do we know like where they're coming from? Because I know like the town that they're in is like Newt or something like that. What is it? Like something? It's like some kind of like short Texas town. I feel like Newt sounds right, but it's probably not.
Probably Newt, Texas.
I
Why
don't know.
not? Yeah, I don't know where they're coming from. When you asked that question, I was about to say Mexico, but that's in the remake.
I knew that because I read the description.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so they tell her that the grave's fine, right?
Yep.
That her
And she gets to
grandfather's-
see.
Yeah.
She doesn't. There's just the dirt. She doesn't know for sure that he's still buried, but there's not like a hole.
Yeah, it doesn't look touched.
But Franklin's kind of mad that he can't see for himself, though.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sally and Franklin, are they related?
They're
All right.
brother and
Yeah,
sister, aren't
or
they?
sibling.
They are? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's their grandfather's grave that they were seeing.
Okay. They don't have
Um,
it's weird because I don't feel that relationship between them two. I don't feel like they really built that in the script wise, other than maybe saying that they were there to see their grandfather. There's something about their relationship that didn't seem
no, I
brother
think when
and
it's like
sister.
just the two of them, there's
Yeah, like when they're at the van at night, I think there's
Mhm.
that brother sister kind of
Mhm.
dynamic going on.
They don't have a great relationship as siblings, but
Hmm.
they're siblings. So they're in the van, and Franklin they all smell something really bad. Franklin recognizes it as the stench of a slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
Franklin knows that stench because he's got an uncle who works at the slaughterhouse. And boy, Franklin's got stories about how animals are killed in slaughterhouses.
Yeah, he's so animated. He's just like bang, 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 bang,
Right.
bang, bang, bang. It's stuff like that was just like, oh man, he was really annoying when he
Right,
just like
and
keeps repeating it.
I think he's because Pam is a vegetarian,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and so I think he's just messing with her right
He's
there.
just
Like he
messing with
knows
her.
that it bugs her, and it's like like Franklin's definitely like what is he? He's like the fifth wheel, I guess, in this
Yeah.
right? Because
Hmm.
Pun intended.
oh wow, I didn't even
I don't think that was intended.
nah, it wasn't.
Okay.
But yeah, because you got the two couples and
And
then
then him, yeah.
Hmm.
annoying old Franklin.
Hmm.
So in slaughterhouses, animals are killed by being bashed with a hammer. And after
Yeah.
that happens, their bodies just twitch. That's a
Hmm.
detail Franklin shares with us. He
That's
also
sweet.
talks about the air gun, which you already brought up No Country for Old Men at the beginning, is Anton Chigurh's weapon of choice.
Yes. It just goes bam, bam, bam.
Yep.
No.
And then they see a hitchhiker.
Yeah, and for some reason decide to pick him up.
It was the 70s, I guess. It was a
I
different.
guess
They decide to
that's
pick
how
him
you got
up
around.
and then to his face say, I think we just picked up Dracula.
Yeah.
Like after he already got in the van.
Hmm.
And this dude is
Odd.
He
to
did
say
just
the
pick up
least.
Dracula. You don't want to insult Dracula.
Right.
So he's got like a red like scar thing
Birthmark.
down. Yeah, down his
Mhm.
face.
Yeah.
He's so dirty.
Yep.
Very dirty.
He has this
Very
like
tight.
yeah, he's like frail looking and like
Yeah.
oh yeah, his like very tight. He has this furry pouch
Yeah.
around his neck.
Yeah, that looks like he made it out of roadkill.
Right, like he skinned something and made this
Yeah.
pouch.
Hmm. He's very different from the group of characters that we met so far.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like his vibe, his energy is just throwing everything off. Because when he gets in the car, they're all kind of like facing him.
I would
Mhm.
never pick this guy up. I've never picked up a hitchhiker.
I've never picked up that.
I also haven't, but I have been a hitchhiker that got picked up.
Really?
Interesting.
And I didn't murder anyone.
Good job, man. Did you cut yourself with a knife that you
No,
took from
I,
one of the people in the car?
I got to my destination safely.
What
I
was his
very
point
grateful.
in doing that?
Cutting
Is
himself?
it like did he feel like socially
Well-
awkward and was just like, hey, look what I can do?
We're jumping
'cause
ahead a little bit.
Yeah,
We are? Okay.
we are. And I think, and I have an answer, but we'll wait until later.
Okay.
So,
So he's talking about the slaughterhouse now, joining in on the
Mhm.
slaughterhouse conversation. Mentions
He, like-
that his brother worked at the old slaughterhouse. And he's got pictures.
Yeah.
he carries pictures of dead cows in his fur pouch around
And
his
he's
neck.
so excited to show everyone.
He's so excited. And
Like
he
they were
prefers
pictures
to
of his
kill them
children.
with the sledgehammer.
He likes the old way with the sledge.
Yeah.
That new way? No.
No,
No.
it's no good.
He talks about how they like to use every piece of the animals they kill.
Mm.
Lists off. They use the jowls, the muscles, the eyes, the ligaments, everything.
It talks about head cheese, which was also the title of this movie.
It was the working title.
Yeah, it was almost called Head Cheese.
Really?
Yeah.
And then he borrows Franklin's pocket knife and just starts giggling and cutting himself.
Yeah.
All right. So I know we've already established that we would never pick this guy up, but at what point would you kick this dude out of your van?
I feel like at that point.
Yeah, not earlier. I feel like as soon as this dude pulled out some pictures of some dead cows from his furry pouch.
Yeah, it'd probably be the pictures, right?
Yeah, I'd be like, all right, no, we took you far enough. This is enough.
This is enough.
Yeah, I'd like to think I wouldn't go so far as to him acquiring the knife off of someone else in the car.
Yeah.
Don't give that guy a knife.
He gives it to him, right?
Yeah, no, he kind of like hands it off. Yeah.
Did he? I thought he kind of was just like, ooh, a knife, and then he took it.
Yeah,
but he doesn't like resist.
Yeah,
right.
He doesn't like stop him or anything.
Franklin's weird because he's like engaging with this dude a lot.
Yeah.
Like you can sense something strange about Franklin. Like Franklin's a little freaky.
Franklin's tired of being with the two couples.
That's true.
And now they're a clean six with the hitchhiker.
Right. So he's I get that.
After he cuts himself, he does return the pocket knife to Franklin.
Yeah, but everyone is like grossed out. Everyone is just like, "Oh my god, why would you do that to yourself?" Like,
it's funny because I was like, I've seen this a few times, so I was like watching the different reactions, and Sally's kind of like laughing at this dude, she's just kind of she's like kind of laughing in like disbelief, and looking at I forget her, is it Kirk?
Yeah,
her man. She's like looking at him
Kirk is
are you
Pam's man.
Oh, it's Pam's. Yeah, well, she's looking at Jerry. She's looking at someone, and she's just like it's like almost like, are you saying this? Like she's just kind of like in disbelief. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, Kirk and Pam are definitely like freaked out.
Yeah, oh yeah. Pam does not like this dude. You can tell from like the moment. Like she didn't want to pick him up at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think she's the one that made the Dracula comment when he enters, right?
I think so. It was either her or Franklin.
So after this dude hands Franklin back the knife, he then pulls his straight razor out of his sock. Like he didn't even need Franklin's knife to cut himself. He just wanted to use the other guy's knife to cut himself.
He likes knives.
I feel like that's when I would have been like, yo, pull over and get this guy out, because now he's pulling out another blade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then, yeah.
Now he starts talking about how his brother makes really good head cheese, right?
Mm-hmm. Then he takes out a camera, a Polaroid, and snaps a shot of Franklin without asking.
Yeah.
And then
he invites them over to dinner.
Yeah, to have some of the head cheese that his brother made. And he asks for money for the picture.
$2.
Yeah, he says $2.
It's a good picture.
Yeah. But it honestly looks like the picture is just black. Like there's no picture at all.
I've taken Polaroid pictures, and that lighting was terrible. It did not.
Yeah, I'm sure it came out really dark.
So they refuse to pay, and now the hitchhiker takes offense to that. So he pulls out matches and starts burning the photo.
He burns a fire in their car. He starts a fire in the van.
He pours some like gunpowder on top of it.
Yeah, it makes like a little boom.
This guy is insane.
Yeah, that was the final straw.
And they're like, all right.
And so there's lots of commotion because there's now a fire in the moving vehicle. And amid the commotion, the hitcher slashes Franklin's left arm with a straight razor.
Yeah.
Get like this close up. We get this close up on the arm as Franklin's being cut, and it's the blood coming out. It's icky and scary.
Cut himself.
And it's clearly harmful to himself and others.
Yeah.
Danger. So now the group forces him out of the van.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And while he's getting out, he kind of runs along the van.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's like kicking it, and then he's rubbing
He's rubbing his blood
on the
it.
side of the van, marking it.
And
Marks it.
and dancing as well. He's done this weird movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like there's a lot of this
Blowing raspberries, yeah.
blowing raspberries, which Franklin also does later.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess he was planning this all along when he cut himself to mark the van.
Yeah.
To answer your earlier question.
Okay.
So now that we got that guy out of the van, let's go back to Zodiac.
Yeah, some good Zodiac reading. It's kind of like the Zodiac reading becomes like the classroom sequence. Where like the Zodiac sign is like spot on.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic.
How there's like a lecture in the classroom
Yeah.
that'll illuminate something in the plot. Yeah, so Franklin's Zodiac is you will have a disturbing and unpredictable day.
Yeah.
It's pretty fair.
Mm-hmm.
And they're out of gas. Who could have predicted that?
Yeah, they're low.
Stop at a gas station, but there's no gas. Or so says the guy at the gas station.
And this is where that classic "you don't want to go around there" trope happens.
Yeah, this is the thing though. I don't know if it was a trope when.
Right, I think this might be.
This was like the first like slasher movie.
Yeah, this is like the establishing.
Yeah. This is it.
Right, like it was like this and like, what was it, like Black Christmas, I guess? We're like the earliest, and like that didn't have that.
No.
Yeah. So I guess this kind of this established that trope.
And they just start washing the van's windows.
Yeah.
It's like all these people just inserting themselves into this group's trip. They ask for directions, but they don't get direction, or they get some directions, but they also get the warning.
You don't want to go around there.
Yeah, exactly. And the offer to stay here.
Yeah.
We got barbecue.
Yep.
That's enticing. I feel like some Texas barbecue.
Not
He
from
does
that
take
place.
he takes a to-go bag, doesn't he? He grabs a bag.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, we got the barbecue. Let's get out of here.
So now there's the shot of Franklin just like looking at his pocket knife, like inspecting the blood. He's like surprised that there's blood on it.
Yeah.
Right?
He's
Yeah.
really intrigued.
This is why I'm saying, like, Franklin's a little weird to me. He's giving me weird vibes.
Yeah, he's like questioning his contribution to the situation, like wondering if he did something or said something.
Yeah, he says, "You think I said something to make him mad?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, "You're crazier than him."
Yeah, you're crazier than him.
And they get to the house that they were driving to.
Mhm.
This is their it like used to belong to their family or something like that.
It was their grandfather's house.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's all overgrown.
And everyone gets out of the van. They get Franklin out.
Yeah.
The couples go ahead towards the house. Franklin's left outside for a little bit. And he's just looking at the marking on the outside of the van. And
he's stuck there. He's like outside of the van in a wheelchair, but like it's like a grassy woods terrain.
And
he has to like really like fight to like get himself like just a few feet down.
Yeah. He's got something in his mouth that he's like chewing on or like sucking on that I couldn't tell what it was.
it was like the
Tobacco?
barbecue, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
He gets frustrated and like throws it. That's
Yeah,
why
no one's helping him get in. Once he finally does, he starts blowing some raspberries. And then he's like talking to himself, "Come on, Franklin, it'll be a fun trip." And then he says, "If I have any more fun today, I don't think I'll be able to take it." So he's just in a mood.
Yeah,
He got dragged along with his sister and her boyfriend, and they're and they're couple friends, and he's just the fifth wheel, and it's a hot Texas summer.
And he got
And they're
slashed.
being inconsiderate of his needs.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. I'm Team Franklin.
He's still
You're Team
annoying.
Frank? Still
Like
very.
I can empathize with him and also find him annoying.
Okay, but all the characters in the movie.
Oh
are
no, yeah,
annoying,
they're all trash. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Franklin's
trash,
just
but not
the most
as
rational, and so
annoying.
I connect with that, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And they're spiders.
Yeah, the couples are going nuts in the house, like looking at all the rooms, choosing where they're gonna sleep, and look at the wallpaper and the zebras and the.
Yeah, she's having fond memories. Sally's having memories.
Yeah.
Mhm. And Franklin tells Kirk and Pam about a local swimming hole.
Mm-hmm.
Gives some directions to it.
Yeah, it's right in those old sheds.
Yeah.
Yep. So Kirk and Pam are off.
Is this when he finds the ominous bag of bones and the bones hanging from the doorway?
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like birds, right?
Ominous bag of bones as opposed to the
Right, the friendly
decorative bone bag.
Welcome to the neighborhood bag of bones.
Looking for the swimming hole, they see there's a house nearby, so they decide to go there because
they can hear like an engine running.
Yeah,
right.
The generator.
This is one of those moments that's like it like subverts your expectations because you hear like the name of the movie is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Right. You think you hear a chainsaw, right?
Right. But then they get to the
it.
house and it's like, oh, this is just a generator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love approaching the house, like the branches on the trees have like empty glass bottles on them, and so they're like clanking together in the wind. It's just a good look and sound and aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the generator. And then there's the tooth. Right?
On the porch, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kirk is calling out for gas.
Yes.
They can get gas, and they can get that in the van
and go home.
Yeah.
Go wherever.
And the door's unlocked. So Kirk's going to proceed. Pam's
just going to enter someone's house.
Pam's hanging back a little bit, but Kirk's going to break and enter.
Pam's kind of like... Pam's also one of the more rational ones. It's like Franklin's definitely the most, but then Pam, I think, is a little more...
Okay.
Until, Kirk gets...
I mean, she's really into Zodiac, so I don't know how rational.
You're gonna lose some listeners over that comment.
Come back, listeners.
I'm sorry, I'm just being a Pisces about it.
There you go.
There it
is. So guess who's home? It's the killer of the movie. It's Leatherface.
You hear those pig noises that lures him in, right?
And there's that weird red back room with all the skulls on the walls.
Yeah, like bones. Yeah.
And I just feel like
he walks to it.
He does, which he's dumb. Like this guy, Kirk is the dumbest, and he gets got first, obviously.
Yeah.
And he trips like a dummy.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of tripping in this movie. Like that trope is heavy.
Yeah.
In this
movie. Yeah. But this is there's something. This scene is just so iconic, I think. Like when I think of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I think of this part.
Just
where his
first
scene. Where he trips and he just pops out. Like the pacing is just there's something different about it.
It's really quick.
It is. And he because he trips and then immediately Leatherface pops out from the doorway.
With the hammer.
Bam.
Yeah. Bashes him so hard
hesitation.
That he shakes. And that's it. It's a wrap.
And slams.
We see the body twitching.
Yeah.
Franklin talking about the animals.
Mm-hmm.
And then gets bashed some more.
Yeah. And then pulls him in the room, slams the door, and then
that door shut. And that's it.
And the score comes in.
That's the introduction.
Oh my God.
To a character.
It still gets me every time I watch it. You get that sinking feeling. Like you're like, oh no.
It's a nightmare. This movie's a fucking nightmare.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it just feels like it. Like ugh. And so now it's Pam's turn, right?
Right. It's been a while since she's heard
she comes
from
in.
Kirk.
If she was gonna enter the house all along, she should have done it with Kirk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she was.
It's not a great idea to do it.
Freaked her out.
Yeah.
He freaked her out.
Yeah.
So
she was mad at him.
Yeah, she was
So
mad.
she trips into a room and sees
Like
all the furniture, which
feathers
is made from
bones
human bones.
It's pretty cool furniture. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, some nice DIY. Reclaimed bones.
I mean, they're using the whole animal. You know.
They're using the whole thing, every single thing. You see the lampshades with like stretched skin on it.
Yeah.
And then, how does he approach her? He approaches her in that room, or as she's running out. As she gets up and she's running out, he's right behind her.
I just want to know, in that room,
he is kind of fast.
In that room, there's a caged chicken, just going nuts. So we just hear that sound on top of that.
The chicken is stressed.
Yeah.
So she's trying to get away. Leatherface catches her.
Yeah, and it's just
there's a meat hook involved.
There's like that, like, I feel like that's real, like, iconic scenery for this movie is like when she like gets out the door, but then like he like grabs her back and she's just like kicking,
like flailing in his arms.
Yeah, just flailing, just like trying to get away, but like you're not getting away.
He's just so large.
Yeah,
he's a big guy, and he moves very quickly.
That's the thing. Like usually, like with like someone like Michael Myers, like he's big, but like he just takes his time. Like he's always walking. But this dude is gonna run at you. He's gonna run at you down
with heavy machinery.
And he's like completely unpredictable in his movements. Even though he's coming for you, he's still like flailing all over the place.
And like squealing like a pig while he does it. Ugh.
Right. Yeah. So when he catches Pam, he impales her on a meat hook, which she survives.
He hangs her up and then chops her man up with a chainsaw in front of her.
Right in front of her.
Makes her watch.
It was insane.
And then we cut to, I don't know what those things are. Is it called a mill? Like on the roof of like Texas homes? Like the thing that spins?
Like a windmill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you talking about like the weather, the
weather vane?
Is that what it is? The weather vane?
That's like a cross thing, right?
Nah, what are you talking about?
The thing that spins.
I
think it's usually a part of the weather vane.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. I don't know. I just like that image.
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't have mentioned it if I can't describe it though. So now we visit Sally, Jerry, and Franklin, and Jerry is mocking Franklin after Franklin surviving this completely traumatic experience. Jerry's just being a total dick, saying, "He's gonna get you, Franklin. He's gonna kill you."
Just like dudes, just dudes rule.
Just dudes rule.
Instead of like talking about what they all just witnessed together and experienced.
No, we're just gonna make jokes.
No fear. Yeah. But let's hint that he has no reason to be scared.
Right.
Because no one's listening to him about he's the only one that noticed the marking on the van. And he thinks correctly, accurately, that it was so that the hitcher could come back to them for later. So now Jerry's sent out to look for Kirk and Pam, because we're gonna do everyone one by one.
Right. Like the thing, like they don't at this point they haven't had to do anything to like hunt them down or like attract them.
Yeah, they all just go into the house.
They're literally just showing up to the front door.
Yeah. Have you seen the movie Tucker and Dale vs. Evil?
Oh, no.
I don't usually like horror comedies, but it's a good horror comedy where it's just like two guys hanging out in the woods, and then there's like people there to party, and they keep getting like accidentally murdered near them. And it's like they're killing themselves, but
Oh.
but it just looks bad. So as Jerry's heading out, it's the sun is setting, and it's just a fucking beautiful shot with the silhouette of Jerry heading out to his death.
Yeah.
The sun is setting on the day and on Jerry's life.
Ooh.
He sees the house, so he enters.
Yeah. Calling
And
for his friends.
Yeah, and he hears something like a clanking of some sort, maybe some yells, some cries, and he sees the freezer. Just
Yeah, he actually
top
enters the room.
jiggling. Yeah, and he opens the freezer, and he finds Pam. So he accomplishes his goal.
Pam's chilling.
She's still alive because when he opens the freezer, Pam like pops up like the
Yeah.
like those
Like
Halloween.
a Jack in a Box.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
And before he can react to it, Leatherface kills him.
He Jerry screams, and it's
Mm-hmm.
so high pitched and funny. Like, I know it's like a terrible moment, but I don't know. I laugh.
sometimes that scream just you gotta get it out, and how it comes out is how it comes out.
He lets out this scream.
Yeah.
So now it's just Sally and Franklin, and like not that much time in the movie has passed by now.
Right,
Like
this is pretty
they go
quick.
1, 2, 3,
No,
like
yeah,
quick
very quickly.
succession.
There's a nice sun into moon transition at this point.
Full moon.
Yeah. Full moon,
Yeah.
Saturn's in retrograde. Stuff's about to go down.
We spend a moment with the camera lingering on Leatherface. We see his Leatherface, which is like someone else's skin over his head, and he's like licking his teeth. He's got like really crooked, jangly teeth, and you see like his tongue coming out to lick his teeth, and it's like popping through the mouth hole on the skin mask, and it's just very unnerving. And
I like that we get this moment alone with Leatherface. We really get to focus on him and his face and like the sound that he makes, because it sounds very like insane. So like the sound he's making doesn't sound like
it's very primal.
Yeah. But like high pitched.
Not the sound you would assume coming from a human being.
Yeah, this is something that like the remake was like missing. Was like a moment like this, where you just got to like be with him for a moment.
So now Sally and Franklin are gonna go look for Kirk, Pam, and Jerry.
Franklin wants to get out of there.
Here's the rule. If there's 5 of you and 2 go off and the third one goes looking for them, you don't then look for the third one. If the person that went to go look for them doesn't show up,
something's not right.
Don't follow them. Like,
and
but yeah, Franklin knows this, and he's saying, "Let's not do that."
Right, and they're honking the horn.
Which is why I like Franklin.
Yeah, he's sensible. They're honking the horn. They're yelling for them. So there's a moment like he goes to check the ignition, and then he realizes the keys aren't there.
Yeah,
that's because one of the others had the key, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure if like someone snuck up and took the key.
Probably Jerry.
Jerry had the key. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought, because he was driving.
Yeah, he's the driver. They are, well, I want to say Sally is annoyed with Franklin.
Yeah.
And Franklin seems more afraid than anything, because he realizes that he will be left alone in the dark. And everyone
he's got a flashlight.
Yeah, he's got the flashlight, and he won't give it to her, thinking like that's gonna keep her with him.
Yeah, he thinks Sally's gonna follow the flashlight, but instead she says, "Fine, you stay here with the flashlight. I'll go off without a flashlight," which then gets him to follow her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, "I can't push you," and that's like the real struggle. The real thing that wasn't said is like, I'm here. I'm staying here with you because I can't push you, and if I go, then I'm leaving you alone.
Mm-hmm.
But she does try to push him.
Yeah. And they see a light in the distance, so they're following that.
Mm-hmm.
They're calling out for their friends. They get close to the house. And Leatherface, I guess Sally's like a bit ahead of Franklin at this point.
Yeah, Franklin's like, oh, I hear something.
Mm-hmm. And that something was his death. Because Leatherface gets the chainsaw and kills Franklin.
Yeah, right in his seat.
So yeah, so he's chopping Franklin up, and Sally's standing there just screaming.
Yeah,
like she's just like freaking out, shrieking, hands on the head type of scream. She can't believe what she's seeing.
This is when I noticed that Leatherface is wearing a tie. Does he have a job that he has to go to?
You know, Leatherface is all about the occasion, and there's something later that I'm gonna bring up.
Okay.
That I don't know.
No,
if you guys
I know.
Okay, you did.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
Cool.
So yeah, after Sally has her moment where she's frozen and screaming, she then starts running, but she runs toward the house. Which she should have been running away from it, in my opinion.
I mean,
this is
really, but yeah, I think the house is probably the worst place you could.
A really long chase scene.
She kind of runs through like a thicket of sorts.
Yeah.
You know? Where like she's kind of pushing herself through and getting scratched up, and then Leatherface is just chopping it all with the chainsaw. I like that part of the chase.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that what's his name? Guy who plays Leatherface.
Oh.
He's a lot faster than girl who plays Sally. So they had to like add in him chopping the branches out of the way, or else like he could like easily catch up to her and kill her.
He was
by
on
having
ass.
the branches, by having the branches as the obstacle, it stops you from thinking that. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's great. I love that.
There's a certain point during the chase where he's like really close to her, and I feel like it's shortly after she falls.
Gunnar Hansen.
She falls, she's exhausted, and she kind of just lays there for a moment. And I'm just like, yo, there's like, you hear the chainsaw like getting closer, right? She's just like,
what she does is she gets into the house and she closes the door behind her and then just like collapses.
Yeah.
But like honey, he has a chainsaw.
He has a chainsaw.
Did you not see the title? Like I'm not.
What's not clicking?
So Leatherface, easily chainsaws the thin wooden door.
Right, so he's chainsawing it. She runs up the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this is when you meet some more of the family.
Yeah, little family reunion.
Yes,
she finds the desecrated remains of an elderly couple upstairs.
And the little dog.
Yeah, little dog. So cute. I love pets.
So she's obviously disturbed.
Yeah.
She runs down the stairs, and that's when Leatherface pops through the door.
Yeah.
And then this is another thing that's just like a classic fear. Like you running up the stairs with someone right behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's so scary. Like, and especially if that person has a weapon.
Yeah.
Like, the way that you then run up the stairs.
Yeah, you can't get up fast enough.
You're so aware of your like ankles and
when she I don't know. Goes down the stairs first though, she kind of scares Leatherface a little bit.
Yeah, he's a little shocked to see.
He's like startled by her. And they don't do that anymore. I feel like in all slasher movies, it's like they have to make the figure like completely impenetrable. Nothing can get past this just murderous robot of a person.
It's that Michael Myers influence.
Yeah. Instead, Leatherface gets a little jumpy.
Yeah.
In that split second when Yeah, but then Sally gets back upstairs and jumps through a window.
Jumps out the damn window.
Oh man, I'm
She does it
bravo.
twice.
Because no hesitation. She did not hesitate to jump out of the second story window to save her life.
Yeah.
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 You gotta make a choice.
You gotta make a choice. Split second. Do you
She
jump or not?
doesn't land very well.
Nah. This is like a
Actually,
face plant.
This is
Actually,
not
she
planned
does
out.
okay this time. The second time, she especially doesn't land well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so now she's out of the house and she runs to gets to the gas station they were at earlier.
Dude's still there.
This whole time we just hear the chainsaw. It's like
The chainsaw hasn't
like a 10-minute
stopped.
sequence where all we hear is and
Her screaming and the chainsaw, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really unnerving because it's such an intense chase because of how close he gets to her. And just like the sound of the chainsaw behind her.
So now the guy at the gas station that kind of, he told you not to go.
Right.
Yeah.
So this should be like a moment of relief.
Yeah, and he does calm her down.
Yeah.
He successfully calms her down, gets her to breathe, and he says, "I'm going to help you." And she's feeling relaxed, and he says, "I'll be right back. I'm going to get my truck."
He's got
I would
some
have been
barbecue.
suspicious. Would you guys have been suspicious that the chainsaw stopped when she entered the door? Like if you were being chased and then you enter somewhere and it just stopped.
No, I think because the other guy was there, she assumed
that he wasn't gonna enter there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't remember what happened like immediately before she got to the gas station.
She's being chased with
she's being chased.
chainsaw
So
with leather face.
The
Right.
chainsaw
There's just
is on
no
until she enters the
transition. Oh wow, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, that's a little fishy.
Yeah. And while she's waiting for gas station guy to come back, there's a close up on Sally. Like the camera slowly moves in, and we notice that she sees something. She's noticing something. So then the next shot, we get to see what she's seeing, and it's Bones in the gas station.
Mm-hmm.
And before she can do anything, the guy comes back with ropes and a tarp.
And a broom. Or he grabs a broom, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. He like beats her.
I like that. Yeah, she
picks up
grabs
a knife.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he smacks the knife out of her hand with
Taps
the
it
broom.
out of her hands.
It's good broom
He just
fighting.
keeps
Yeah.
hitting
It
her.
is. And then he smacks her.
Yeah,
What?
knocks her out unconscious a little bit.
Yeah, and then he ties her up and gags her with like the nastiest looking rag.
Ugh.
Oh. Oh.
And he forces her into his truck.
And this is my favorite moment of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
When he's in the driver's seat of the truck, looks back at the gas station and realizes he left the door and the door open and the lights on, and then goes back to turn off the lights and close the door. This is my favorite part.
It's the little things. So yeah, it turns out this guy was bad news too.
Yeah.
Because where's he drive? He drives back to the house they were in.
Mm-hmm. And on their way, they run into the hitchhiker.
Yeah, guess who also showed up as the hitchhiker. We find out that's Leatherface's brother because gas station guy says, "I told you to never let your brother alone." You see what happened?
Yeah, this family dynamic is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the remake, I guess this old man, this guy that ties her up, is kind of the basis for the the new character that they focus on more in the remake.
The sheriff.
Yeah.
That makes sense. He has more seems to have more of a grasp on what's happening around him than Leatherface or his brother.
Right.
Yeah.
He seems to be calling the shots more.
Yeah, he's the
at least
he's the
from
authority.
here on.
Yeah.
The hitchhiker recognizes Sally
Yeah.
And he starts taunting her. And they're just tormenting her, and it's a fucking nightmare. Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible.
So they bring her in, they get her in that chair, right?
Yep.
And this part is just awful.
Dinner time.
The
dinner scene is terrifying.
When you realize
the most unsettling thing,
and you realize that the grandpa is alive.
Well, yeah. So there's a grandpa, right? He's one of the bodies. Was upstairs,
up in the attic or whatever
that they have on his face.
So at first you think, oh look, it's like the corpse that they're just bringing to dinner with them.
But no, they put her finger in his mouth.
Yeah,
they cut her.
They cut her finger. They draw her blood.
Yeah. So he can suck on her finger.
And he's loving it. Like he starts, his like hands come up, and he's like,
alive. Yeah.
Yeah. Then it's supper time.
Yeah, and like she's screaming so much, she's so freaked out that she faints. She passes out.
And then wakes up and sees him again, and then screams some more.
Yeah. And they were like having a peaceful dinner.
Right.
They were having a nice, quiet dinner.
Yeah.
And
she screams, and they all start screaming with her.
Yeah, like mocking her.
They're like all like howling and like, yeah.
Yep. This is what I thought you were going to bring up when I was talking about the tie, because Leatherface has dinner attire on.
He did his makeup.
I think he's wearing different skin.
Probably wearing a different face.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's now wearing a woman's skin and like hair and an apron.
Yes.
He's
he's.
Would it have been Pam's? Any chance it would have been Pam's face?
Maybe. Does he work that quickly?
Yeah, it didn't look fresh.
Okay. Yeah, he probably lets it sit out for a little bit.
Right. And there's like some like exaggerated makeup on this face that he's wearing.
So the arms of the chair that Sally's sitting in are arms, like human, like severed human arms. So it's just the image of her arm over top like a dead arm.
Yeah.
And she's like tied to that. It's
something about the way that this scene is shot that's so relentless. Like just her screaming for like 5 minutes straight.
And it's a lot of close-ups.
It's a lot of like extreme close-ups. You can just see her sweating, and you can see her eyes just like bulging and turning red. Yeah.
Get the close-up of her eyes from like 3 different angles.
Yeah.
The last one is like just the white of her eye with the red lines.
Veins. Yeah. And when you feel like they should release it, they should release this moment. They don't. They don't release it. It keeps going. And she's just like freaking out. She won't stop yelling. And like they're yelling with her. Like they're just like, you can scream all you want. It's not going to do anything.
Yeah. Like the hitchhiker and Leatherface are really enjoying this. But the cook is not really into that part of it.
Yeah, like he doesn't have the stomach for it.
Yeah, like they even kind of taunt him about that. Yeah,
he's not a killer.
He does the cooking. Like you're just the cook. And there's that kind of there's that like tension there in within the family that's really strange.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of ends up being their downfall almost. Well, at least causes
like if they were a better team. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they decide that Grandpa's the best killer of all of them.
He's the best.
So he's going to be the one to kill Sally.
Yeah. He's
it's a good little bit of comic. I don't know if I can quite call it comic relief, but it is some relief. Yeah. Certainly this next scene where Grandpa's trying to kill Sally. He's got the hammer, but he's too weak.
Yeah, he's too weak to actually do it. He's just dropping out of his hand.
It drops, and it's like dropping into, they have like a bucket, like a metal bucket. So like every time the hammer falls, there's like a loud clanking sound.
Mm-hmm.
That scene makes me uncomfortable because I think of them filming it. Because it seems like it's an actual hammer.
Yeah.
and they're swinging this hammer at her head.
Yeah.
And at one point, you even see it kind of like glance her head. It just
Yeah,
makes
definitely,
me
like,
uncomfortable.
it definitely hits her, and she
Yeah.
is like bloody in the back of her head.
Yeah, you see the mark.
Yeah, they're all getting like so riled up, and the hitchhiker is like, I want to do it, I want to do it, let me do it. And when he does that, when he gets really excited, he like lets her go, and she's able to like make a break for it.
I don't know if he lets her go. I think we should give Sally some credit.
Oh, yeah,
Sally breaks free.
Yeah, she breaks free.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, it's definitely because Grandpa's really blowing it with the hammer.
He's really
Yeah,
blowing
yeah,
it.
Yeah, she takes advantage of a good opening. And what does she do? Her signature move. We see Sally jump out of more windows than we see Leatherface murder people with chainsaws. And
I love that
in this jump,
she jumps out of windows though, because I don't know. I remember watching something or reading something where it was just like in horror movies, like you have the final girl and she kind of has to like earn her life, right? She has to go through all of this misery and like make it out in the end. And that's what she's been doing the whole time. Like she never stopped fighting.
Yeah.
She's jumping through windows. She doesn't care where she lands. She has to get out of there.
and she lands like on her feet, but not like a cat. It's like she didn't bend her legs. So
Ouch.
it looks very painful. And when she gets up, she like can't really walk.
Mm-hmm.
Which is bad because she's being chased by a family of murderers.
Yeah. And yeah, she can't outrun them because pretty much the hitchhiker is toying with her. Like he's just like on her back, and he takes out that blade from earlier, and he's just like slicing her back.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason she's able to get away is because a truck passes by.
This
and
part's
like
so satisfying.
Runs him over.
Yeah. So hitchhiker's dead, killed by a truck.
Yeah.
And the truck driver.
Yeah.
The truck driver comes out of the truck as Sally's
truck
running.
Which is named the Black Maria.
Oh shit! Oh yeah.
I noted.
So Sally's running, and Leatherface is chasing after her, and the truck driver. He turns around with a wrench and just throws it in Leatherface's
knocks
face.
him. I love how like very quickly he becomes part of like the chase.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like for a very short moment. But he's very
brand
crucial.
new character who just wrenches Leatherface in the face. And then Leatherface drops his chainsaw on his leg. Like if you put like yakety sax to this scene, like it would just be like pure physical comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing's going right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leatherface cutting himself with his own chainsaw is the only time we actually see someone getting cut with the chainsaw, because all the other instances the movie cuts to something else.
Right, like Sally's reaction.
The only time we see the chainsaw hit flesh is Leatherface getting himself.
Right. I was gonna say kind of with Franklin, but you don't see it.
You don't see it like cuts.
Yeah, you see it from the back of Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
You just see him put the chainsaw into the chair. Yeah.
So the driver gets the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
He doesn't even go back to his truck. He just keeps running, and we don't see
him.
I'd have kept going. I'd have just kept going.
Where did he go?
Because another truck comes, a pickup truck.
Yeah.
This one, Sally is able to get into the bed of the truck.
Yeah.
While Leatherface is still chasing her. So the Black Maria truck driver, I guess, I don't know. That person might be dead.
He might be.
Yeah, that person, like, they don't go back to him at all. It's about Sally.
But yeah, Leatherface is more concerned with Sally in this moment, trying to get Sally seems to get very, very close as she is failing at first to lift herself up into the truck bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But no, she gets away. And Leatherface just flails his chainsaw in the air.
Can we talk about this ending?
Yeah,
I mean,
can we talk about it?
You two both
Because
kept
there's,
talking
like,
about. You two kept bringing up. This is the iconic shot of the movie. This is it. I think the last shot
Yeah.
is the iconic shot. Just
I
Leatherface, just.
now that we've got here, but it's
Yeah.
also it's that, but
It's
it's also the
also
shot that
Sally.
precedes it. Yes, her in the
Yes.
back of the pickup truck, just laughing, covered in blood.
Covered in
Like,
blood.
oh
And,
my
like, this
God.
white truck.
Like,
Yeah.
just like maniacal laughter. Like
Off into, like, what? The sunrise? The sun is rising at
the
this point,
sun's
right?
rising, yeah,
Sun's
and
rising, so you
and
get some nice
Leatherface
lens
is
flare through the
yeah,
chainsaw. Yeah.
face is
Yeah, she
dancing.
is, like, hysterical. And it's still chaotic, yet beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is the iconic shot.
Yeah. And then I love the way it just cuts.
The 70s
That's it.
movies knew how to end. They just ended
Yes.
when
Yeah.
when
Cut.
the climax is over.
No nonsense.
They don't have the whole epilogue.
Right. Like I feel like now, like I'm sure, like does this happen in the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Like they like you see like a few years later, like how Jessica Biel is dealing with.
No, I would say that it doesn't end as, like, chaotic. Like, it has, like, one final jump scare, and then she's fine, and then she drives, she's fine. It doesn't end as like amped up as this one, I want to say.
Yeah, I like
But
how
there is something really satisfying about the ending of the remake. I don't want to tell you because we're gonna watch it, but
All right,
We're
well,
gonna watch it.
To go back to this one, I like how it ends. Like even though Sally gets away, it's not like a happy ending, at least for the audience. They can maybe breathe that the person they've been following gets away, but we're left with Leatherface still wielding a chainsaw, still out there.
Right.
yeah.
And then it cuts to credits. We don't follow back up with Sally. So I don't think it's not comforting to the viewer
No,
at all.
not at
At
all.
the
Oh
end.
yeah, it's not comforting.
It's
at
a
all.
nightmare
It doesn't
just
give you
through and through. Yeah.
And it opens up as a true story. So it opens
it's
up as
brutal.
like this true event, and then it just cuts off at the end.
Right. Like if it were a true story, you would want to know what happens to Sally.
Yeah. It's kind of like how like Blair Witch kind of just cuts at the end.
Yeah.
But like with Blair Witch, you don't even get credits.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, yeah, I gotta rewatch Blair Witch.
So that is the Texas Chain Saw Massacre.
I like that you're doing the space. Like you're really pronouncing the space.
Yeah, because I noticed it yesterday.
Yeah,
I was like,
same.
oh, there's a space. Okay, I'll take note of that.
Is chainsaw not one word?
I'm
guess
pretty sure it's one word.
Okay, this is
Not in this title, though.
Not
interesting.
Yeah. So is Texas Chainsaw Massacre a movie or a film?
You know, I was thinking about this today, and I feel like it would be really easy for me to say movie. I'm gonna say film. Actually, I'm gonna say Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1973 is a film. I talk about like nuance, and when I talk about like what makes picture a film, and I feel like the nuances in the way that the director was able to just capture like that feeling. I don't know how to describe it.
Horror.
Terror.
Horror. Yeah, he was just really able to like tap into like uneasiness and not shy away from it, you know? And yeah, I'm gonna go with film.
So for me, my barometer isn't, I don't go off nuance, I go off depth. And I think this is just an unrelenting nightmare. And that's all there is to it. We're hopeless. And families are fucked up. But mostly just, So for that, I say it's a movie. So Anthony, we're happy to have you here as a tiebreaker.
Yeah, I think it's a movie.
I'm shocked. No, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean it's a movie.
And movie,
I feel
film.
I feel like most of the time, Terrill, I'm gonna call you out right
Call me out. Do that thing.
I feel like you try to subvert expectations with your movie film ratings.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Like I think you try to go against the grain here, against the flow. I appreciate it, but I think this is a movie.
It's a perspective.
Yeah,
It is.
because
I mean, no,
we both have different definitions of what makes it a film. It's
Right.
This is the dumbest shit ever we do on this podcast.
But it's also
we have
the
different
best
rubrics,
part.
so yeah.
It's also the best part.
I love this part.
Good. Well, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 2 out of 3 podcasters say it's a movie.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Now what?
Now I would direct
what?
everyone watching or listening to follow at MovieFilmPod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Email us, moviefilmpod@gmail.com. Tell us if you're interested in these shirts. That look so good on us.
Want it.
Or tell us about the summer movies we missed on the podcast so that next summer we can maybe get to them.
Yeah.
Anthony, do you have anything to plug?
Yeah, but like, yeah. Well, I have. There's a nice online. I'm sure it's still up. There's a nice online experience for you called Fire about a cult in quarantine.
Oh.
How timely. So if you want to go to diecastphilly.com, I believe is the is the website, and
we'll
you can
put the link in the episode description.
Thanks.
So click on that link.
You could check out Fire, and in a few weeks we'll have another one up for you about a hotel. I think it's temporary occupancy, I think is the title, or maybe that's not it. We're still working on it. I'm not good at this part, but check the description, find the link in the bio or whatnot.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Online theater, theater in the time of COVID. What's up?
Yeah, quarantine theater.
All right, next week is a new month, so we're doing a new theme. The hint I'll give is that the movie films we're doing next month involve numbers. That's all I'll say. They all involve numbers.
Sorry.
So that's the hint.
Okay.
All right. So make sure you tune in to figure out what I mean. So thank you for watching or listening to Movie Film.
Film.
All right. That was great. Thanks, Anthony.
Thank you.
Glad we got to have you on here.
Yeah.